Hello, everyone. Sorry for the slightly late start. I was assessing what the deer did to my garden last night. I think one figured out how to get in because many of my sunflowers were eaten. It was very sad. Uh, I'm trying to figure out when we moved into this place, we had this giant area of sunflowers that were all like 6 feet tall. And I'm trying to figure out how that possibly could have happened because any sunflowers I plant get eaten long before they make it to that high. So we'll see if I can figure out the secret. But at least they mostly seem to have stayed away from the tomato plants, and I think I might have to reassess exactly how to set up the gate so that the deer cannot make it in. But anyway, the pepper plants seem to be doing well, and the deer seem not to be eating those so far, for what it's worth. Anyway, we get to start today with this lovely looking grid from FullDeck and missing a few cards. As always, we start with the puzzle most voted on by supporters. So indeed, today's puzzle was voted for by Screaming Ice Cube, David, Plonk Time, Casey, David, Luda, Doomed Yacht, and Paul Fly. Thank you so much to everyone. I see we have at least one of the setters in the house, so welcome, missing. All right, so let us see the rules here. This is originally a Secret Santa gift for Zagress. Let's see. I did see one of them ate the sage, so they are probably seasoning themselves to make lovely venison for someone. Let's see. Okay, so any 3 adjacent cells along the line contain digits with 3 different remainders when divided by 4. Oh, that's exciting. Okay, so we have like a weird modular line variant. So when you divide a number by 4, the remainder can be 0, 1, 2, or 3. And any 3 cells along the line need to have 3 different of those, or I guess you could phrase it as you can't repeat. Now, most of these lines are sort of set up so that it has to be 3 different, and there are 3 possibilities. So usually what you end up with is a sort of repeating pattern. Whereas here, you don't necessarily have that. But what I do see is this branching pattern is very interesting. So I'm just going to start here. So we're going to have sort of 4 modularities here. But what I'm noticing is because of the sort of spike pattern, these actually have to be all different, right? All 4 of these have to be different because of the way that this sort of works. So these 2 things are different. Mod 4. So they're not 4 and 8. However, that might be the only option that is ruled out by the fact that these 2 are different. Mod 4. Unfortunately, I don't think I know anything about what this is. I mean, I know that it's green or blue, but I don't know anything more than that. Now, one thing I think might happen if we do the coloring enough is we might learn which thing is 1 mod 4, because there's 3 things that are 1 mod 4 out of 1 to 9, and only 2 things of each other. So if we were able to do the coloring enough to learn that there was 3 of something, then that might be sufficient to do it. Now, I realize I probably should have started on this one that was actually on the white, that had a white dot involved. I mean, I guess the white dot's maybe not that exciting, actually, because, I mean, of course, 2 things that are consecutive have a different remainder mod 4. Let's see. Now, Jay's inclination was to look at the sort of the center one. So we can try and do that instead, and see if we can make some sense out of this from this point of view. So I know that's yellow or purple. This is blue or yellow. Row 5, column 7 is blue. Right, okay, right. So yeah, so this sees everything in those two directions except that it is blue. And likewise, this one is green because it sees those. Okay, that's very cute. Okay, and then this one sees everything but purple. And this one sees everything but yellow. Okay, so that is good. And now these two we actually know are actually a pair. These two are, in fact, a yellow-green pair because of this. So these are actually a yellow-green pair. These are actually also a yellow-green pair. These are actually a blue-purple pair. Like that. Let's see. Okay, so this Garian points out, this is our 1 mod 4 because this sees 2 of every flavor. In the row, it sees 2 purples and 2 blues, and in the column, it sees 2 greens and 2 yellows. And so what that means is that this number has to be the one thing that there's a third of. And so that means this is 1, 5, or 9. But of those, it can only possibly be 1 because 5 and 9 aren't black dot numbers. So this is 1, and we get to do our digit dance. And that is very cool as a break-in. Let us bring out Zach. Boop-boop-a-doop. Woo! Ba-doop-a-doop. Wah! Ba-doop-a-doop. Wee! Thank you, Zach. Thank you. So this is 2, and this is 2 mod 4. But the only other 2 mod 4 number is 6. So this number here is a 6. Let's see. Right, one of these is purple, at least. They could both be purple, I think. Let's see. What am I going to do? Okay, so this is either, I guess it's... Oh, this is 3, 6. That's the point. This black dot can be 3, 6 or 4, 8, but it can't be 4, 8. Because 4, 8 would be 2 of the same mod 4-ness. So this dot is definitely 3, 6. So we have that for sure. And so that means this cell's not blue. Because the only 2 blue digits are 2 and 6. And this cell sees 2 and 6. So this cell is, in fact, definitely purple, which now means this cell is definitely blue. So this is a 2 or a 6. Now, oh, this can't be a 6. That's cute. Because if this is a 6, then where does 6 go in box 5? Because if this is a 6 now, by sudoku, 6 in box 5 is in one of these 3 cells, but none of these are blue. So this is actually definitely a 2. So this is a 1 or a 4. And this is a 1 or a 3. Let's see. Okay, this is very slick so far. Let's see. Okay, I do know. Yeah, I mean, I guess I know that there is a 6 in one of these 2 cells. Maybe that would probably have been a more elegant way to explain this, but just in terms of where the 6 in column 5 goes, it's definitely in one of those 2. Ah, okay, Garion has a good spot. This cell's no longer able to be blue because it sees 2 and 6. Well, sees 2 and 6. I should highlight both of those. So this is not blue. So this is purple, which again means this is blue. Which means this is the 6 and this is the 3. Okay, and I don't think I know what color this is. I know it's green or purple at least. Let's see. Okay, so this is certainly from 1, 2, 4, 8. I can go ahead and mark just because it sees a 3. I mean, I guess that was true before I even filled in the 3, but might as well fill it in now. The 1 or 4 here is sort of interesting with the black dot constellations that we have everywhere. I mean, I guess I know that I've definitely got a 2 down here, actually, because in this column, what I have left are a blue and a purple and a blue and a purple. Regardless of what color 1 is, I've got everything except the blues and purples left, right? Maybe, yeah, right, because there's whatever this is. Maybe that's not true. Sorry, let me think about this carefully. So if 1 is yellow or green, then I've got a blue-purple pair in both of these places. Well, the 1's definitely not blue. If 1 is purple, if 1 is purple, I still have a blue-purple pair in both of these places. Okay, so I always have a blue-purple pair in these, because, yeah, I guess the none-1 digits are definitely 2 of each of the 4 colors. And so if I just ignore the 1, I know there's 2 of each of the 4 colors, and so these are definitely each a blue-purple pair. So that means in particular that we've got at least all of the none-1 blues and purples. Emma points out exactly the same thing is true in row 5, where we can do that. Those are yellow-green. Which is good. Let's see. These are definitely a yellow-green pair for whatever it is worth. Let's see. I was hoping that I would get something out of knowing that these were sort of, these purples were here, but I don't think that I have. Let's see. And column 4 must be green. It can't be purple. Right. Okay, yes. So this is the cell that I'm supposed to be looking at, Globaglob points out. Because now, if I look along here, this has to be purple or green, but it can't be purple because the only potential purple digit left in the box is 1. So this is definitely green. So green is definitely 3 mod 4. So green is 3, 7. Now, this one, if I look at it, it's actually forced to be purple because it is not yellow, blue, or green because of its proximity to those other things. So, oh, but this one could be 1. This one could be 1. I believe. Okay, so now where does this cell go in box 4? And the answer is it can't go there because I can't have 2 purples that look like that. So I can place that there. And in fact, I can catch up these just to say those 2 are definitely the same digit, whatever that digit is. And now I know purple definitely isn't 1 mod 4. Because there's... Oh, sorry. No, that's not true. Sorry. I was going to say because I can't fit another purple in here, but I could put a purple in one of those 2. Sorry. Never mind. Not forever away, but we're not, but still possible. Let's see. I don't think I know that red circle isn't 1 immediately. If I knew that red circle wasn't 1, I would know it had to go there, but I don't think I do know that yet. Yes, okay. Leah has discovered the color of this cell. Oh, no, sorry. It could be purple. But it's definitely not green. So it is not 3. So this cell is definitely 1, actually. Because if this were a 3, it would be 2 greens in a string of 3. So this is a 1 for sure. And that means this is not a 1 because I can't have 2 1s within 3. So that was a 4. Okay, so now this is a 3, 6 because it sees 1 and 4. And so the only valid dot is 3, 6, which then places the 6 here. The 6 is the one that's blue. So this is the one that is purple for whatever that means. Okay, so that means this is 1, 2, or 8 are the only options for this cell, just for the record. Owing to that 4 there. So, I mean, I can go ahead and mark this as from 1, 2, 4, 8. Let's see. Okay, this doesn't have a 6 on it now because of that 6 and that 3, 6 looking at it. So this is 1, 2, 4, 8. This isn't 2 or 4, actually, so that means actually this is now only 2 or 4. All right, this one can't be 8 because that one can't be 4. I can slightly clean that up. Let's see. Sudoku on 1, says Selena. There's a 1 hanging out here. This is a really good idea for a rule set, by the way. I like this a lot. Good spot from Jay. This cell is definitely not green because the green digits are 3 and 7, and this is not 3 or 7. Which means this cell definitely is green because I can't have 2 yellows next to each other. So this one is 3 or 7 for whatever it is worth. Let's see. There are none of the combinations that never appear on black dots, right? Yeah, there are none of the modularities never appear on black dots. That is a 3-7 pair. Smart spot from Globaglob and J. So that looks over and says this is not green. This is yellow, which means this is not yellow. It is green. Okay, so that means it's a 3 because it can't be a 7. So that's a 3 and that's a 6. And 6 is blue. And this cell now is uniquely determined to be the color that isn't any of the others. It's yellow. Oops. And so yellow is 1 mod 4 because now we've got a yellow in these two cells. Actually, I know these aren't both green. Right. So, so there's a yellow in one of these two cells because if they were both green, that would be 3 greens. And I know there aren't 3 greens. And so therefore yellow is 1 mod 4. And so yellow is 159. So therefore that cell is yellow. And therefore this cell is a 1. And that cell is a 2. Because of that. So we've got that. Oh, so this is also yellow. That's also yellow. So this cell is purple because green I know is 3, 7. And it's not yellow or that. So that is definitely that. So that means purple is 4, 8. So we can fill in a variety of 4, 8s. We could even sort of color these if we absolutely need to. That's a 1 and that's a 2. So that is yellow and that is blue. Let's see. That 4, 8 pair, Emma points out, means that this is not purple. And so therefore it's blue and it's a 2, and that's all the purple or all the blues. So this is purple. And so this is an 8, which is then going to go ahead and do all of those. So this isn't 4 or 8. This one isn't 8. One of these, of course, is 2 for sure. Let's see. Yeah, I could pencil mark some yellows. These are 5, 9. Emma points out the remaining 2 cells in box 4 are definitely blue. I agree with that. These are a 2, 6 pair because we need a 2, 6 pair somewhere. Where is 1 in box 4 now? 1 in box 4 is now placed there. Great minds, glob glob. So that's not a 1 for what it is worth. Oh, I did not write 2, 6. Let's try again. How about that? Okay, this cell is not yellow or purple. So this is only blue or green. I don't know if I really want to mark that, though. Nell has been a member for 23 months. Let's get Mel. Not Mel. Let's get Nell a windmill dance. Boop, 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 woo! Boop, 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 woo! Boop, 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 woo! Boop, 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 woo! Thank you, Nell. Thank you. Okay, this I know is yellow or purple. And this I know is yellow or purple. Just to mark those. And these are, in fact, a yellow-purple pair. Two of these are yellow, and the other one is green, I suppose. This is a naked single. That's a good point from Jaleb. So this is a naked single 1, which makes that a 2. There we go. Okay, where's 8 in column 2 now? 8 in column 2 is there. Let's see. Can I do any more Sudoku on 8s? Maybe not. 4 in box 1, Sayori points out, is there. 4 in box 7 is there. One of these two is a 4, but I don't think I know which one yet. It's interesting the grid has 2 white dots in it. Let's see. I wonder if originally the goal was to not use white dots and then it was decided they were necessary. I'm not sure. Because obviously, like, a lot of this has been about the geometry of black dots and the constraint. Oh, Kale points out this isn't even, so this is, because every white dot needs an even, and so this is 4 or 6 only. Which is maybe not the kind of pencil mark you hope for in this puzzle, but we will accept it with joy. Do please like the stream if you've not yet liked the stream. That's a 4, because where does the 4 go in column 8? Selena points out. That's a good point. Yeah, so 4 in column 8 can't go in the box of the 4 and can't go in either of those cells, so that's just definitely a 4. And so this is a 3 or a 5. I guess I know one of those two is a 4. Not quite sure what to do with that yet. Let's see. Yeah, we've got the other 5, 9, and 7, right? We've got a 7 and 5, 9. So these are from 5, 7, 9. And one of them is definitely a 7. The 8 in column 8, Sayori points out, and oops, I did not mean to corner mark 5s all the way up. The 8 in column 8 is ruled out of these, and so the 8 in column 8 can only go there because it's not 3 or 5. So that is the 8, and so that is the 4 in this box by our previous point, because this can't be purple anymore. And now if that's true, then we know that's a 4 as well. This is a 5 or a 9 for sure. One of these two is a 1, I suppose, and one of these two is a 1. Let's see. 6 in column 8 we can now do, is being pointed out from Globaglob, is now placed there. That is a good point. So 6 is blue, 3 is green. Let's see. Yes. Okay, yeah. So for the box, for the row, we need an extra yellow, is Jaleb's point. And we know we've got all the yellows in this box, so therefore this is yellow. So that's the last yellow for this, which gives us a 5, 7, 9 triple, if you like. So one of these is the blue 6, and it's that one, which makes that a 2 and a 6. That makes this a green 3, 7, and it's actually a 7. There. The 2 in this row we now know goes there. The 8 in this box we now know goes here. We now know this is a 7, apparently. Let's see. In this column, this must be a naked single something. It's not yellow, purple, or blue. Oh, it's green. It's the other green. It's the 3. So that's a 3 just by sudoku. We've got 2 more yellows in this column. And a 7 somewhere. Somewhere, somehow. These are a hidden blue pair, if you look, because the blues, both 2 and 6, look at all the cells in the T. So these are both blue, and they're a 2-6 pair, and we can fill them in like that. And now we can ask where 6 goes in this box, and it goes there. And now we've got all of our blues in the grid. Okay. So this cell, Globaglob points out, isn't blue, it isn't purple, and it isn't green, because it actually sees 3 and 7 through those cells. So it's definitively yellow. So this is a yellow 5-9. Annoyingly, the 3 in the column can still go in either of those places. 3 in box 6, though, Sayori points out wisely, goes here, which now ungreens this cell by the fact that we've got all the greens there. So now this is a 5, which is yellow, which goes up and makes that a 9, like that. Let's see. These are a 5-9 pair, of course. But there's only one more 8. Let's place the one more 8. The one more 8 is there, it would seem. And now, funnily enough, we've got all the evens placed in the entire grid. Let's see. What is left in this row? Let's see. Mark will tell me. 5, 7 is the answer. Well, this one's not a 5 because of the 5-9 pair. So this is a 7. And this is a 5. Oops, sorry, is a 5, not is a color. And this is the last yellow of the column, so it is a 1. Let's see. We can probably some of these over here. Hey, Nordy, how are you doing? Let's see. Okay, so this is a 5, which is yellow. This is a 1, which is yellow. These are both yellow as well. That's yellow. And then this is green. So we can fill in 7, 9, 5, 9, 5, 1. Like that. Mini pancakes. Ooh. Or sorry, not mini pancakes. Mochi pancakes. That sounds delicious. Oh, I didn't actually mark these, I realize. So this is 5 and is therefore yellow. Hey, Smitha, how are you doing? That is 9. This is 7, which is famously green, apparently, in this puzzle. It did not work out as a Casey-friendly arrangement. No yellow there. No green here. Let's see. This is yellow and a 5. This is yellow. This is definitely green, and that's definitely green. And so that's definitely yellow. That's definitely green. And that's definitely green. And so we finished our coloring. 9, 7, 3, 7, 9, and 3. Very lovely puzzle there. I really enjoyed that. The aesthetics were really impressive, and the logic was really impressive. Excellent clue placement and the sort of slow unraveling there. I really liked identifying that this had to be 159. That was a very cool break-in. I was glad I sort of identified it was going to be which one of them there were 3 of thing. I had a Renbon puzzle long ago that was where the joke was the fact that there were 3 things that were 1 mod 4 because it was all length 4 Renbon. And so then you had to be careful about the fact that there were too many 159s in the grid, and so you could color where the 159s were, and that was sort of the whole the whole shtick of the puzzle. So that was where I sort of, that was how I thought of the whole, there's an extra one mod for one, but then that was very well used throughout the puzzle. Yes, great puzzle. I loved that. I'm going to take a quick break, and I'll be back with more puzzle action. Please take a moment to like the stream while I go on break, and I will see you all in just a moment. All right, welcome back. Against perhaps against advice of counsel, I'm going to attempt this 5-star J. Dyer pencil puzzle. I've been really on a pencil puzzle kick, so we're going to try this puzzle, Heavy Ominoes. Now, this does involve this rule whose name I forget about things falling down and filling the bottom half of the grid. And I will admit from previous experience that I am terrible at visualizing and thinking about that. So let's see if I can do better this time than I did last time. Last time I did this one, it was it's only 4 stars, not 5 stars. Okay, 4 stars. That should be better. Last time I did this, Stone. Okay, there we go. It was a Fistamafel puzzle, and my ability to visualize it did not go great. So we'll see how it goes this time. Okay, so first of all, it's a full omino. We need to divide the grid into ominos so that no 2 ominos of the same size share an edge. Each cell contains a number equal to its omino's size. And we need to shade some ominos so that no 2 shaded ominos share an edge. And if the unshaded ominos were removed and the shaded cells' ominos fell down without changing the shape or crossing each other, they would fill the entire bottom half of the grid, still with no same-size ominos sharing an edge. A number in a cell with an arrow indicates the number of shaded cells in the direction of the arrow, not counting the arrow's cell. Okay, so this should be fun. So this is a 1 or a 2. This is a 1, 2, or a 3. Any puzzle with arrows that count things, I just start by identifying things that can't be very large. So like that's a 1, 2, or a 3. This is a 1, 2, 3, or 4. There we go. This is a 1 or a 2. So we have a 1. Oh, sorry. I was going to say, so we have a 1, 2 pair. This is not how this works. That's not how any of this works, Zeta. It is true. No vertical no vertical arrow can be more than 5. That's true. Because of the fact that we know, in fact, actually, I know this is a 4 or a 5, right? Actually, because because it doesn't count itself. So if this is shaded, it's a 4, and if it's unshaded, it's a 5. Because we know how many shaded cells there are in the column. That is a great point from that was a great point from Emma that sort of got me there. If this is a 3 now, Glob points out, it definitely forces 2 shaded ominos to touch, and 2 shaded ominos can't touch, because it would cause the 1, 2, and the 4, 5 to touch, possibly with a third thing in between, but that's not going to make it any better. So now this is a 2. Because if this is a 1, well, then this would certainly also be a 1 because there would only be 1 shaded cell over here. So this is now definitely a 2. And so we can bring out Zach for the 2 dance like you do. Dooka, 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 dooka. Woohoo! 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 Thank you, Zach. Thank you. Okay. So Selena points out these two are either the same or different based on whether this is black or not. I don't think that quite tells us what's happening, though, yet. Let's see. It claims I'm not dropping frames. I never know how seriously to take these claims, but it does at least claim that I'm not dropping frames. Oh, it does tell me that this cell is unshaded, right? Because uh, uh, does it? Uh, uh, I'll have to think about it. Uh, I think this is a 3, 4, or 5, just for the record, because it's probably worth mentioning. Let's see. Uh, let's see. Uh, okay, yeah. Okay, so yeah, so okay, yeah, this is this is a silly argument. So yeah, if this is unshaded, then these two are the same, so they're both 2 and they're both unshaded. If this is shaded, then it's 1 less than that one because it's counting 1 less, and so this is a shaded monomino, in which case this is unshaded by virtue of being next to that. So yeah, so this is always unshaded. I guess green for unshaded for this puzzle. I'm not sure. Uh, uh, that's true. There's always borders in these places because this is either a 2 joining that cell, or oops, uh, or it's a 1, in which case then it doesn't have anything anyway. Uh, if this is unshaded, both of these are shaded, and that doesn't work, right? This just can't be unshaded. Because if this is unshaded, then we still need 2 shaded cells. Those are shaded, but they're shaded across a border. So this is definitely shaded, regardless, which means it's a 4. Uh, uh, I see. Okay, so yeah, so this being 1 breaks through a little bit of a chain that Globoglob explains, but I see it now. So if this is a 1, it's shaded. Uh, and so okay, Selena has an easier way to see this. I can't finish this 4 if the 4 doesn't take this cell. There we go. Okay, this involves less stuff because the 4 certainly can't take this arrow in any circumstance, because in order for it to take that arrow, it would have to come through here, in which case then there's certainly no longer 4 cells below it. So the 4 always takes this cell. It's always shaded. Oops. What on earth happened? I have no idea how I accidentally entered full screen. And so now this being a 1 now forces it to be shaded. But now what on earth is this? Because it has to be unshaded, but it would be an unshaded 1. So this has to be a 2. which means it's unshaded because it joins the 2 there. And that now means this is shaded, which now means that's a 4. Oh, this just can't be part of the 4 either, because if this were shaded... Oh, no, sorry, that's not true. This could be part of the 4. That's fine. This is now at least a 1. Okay, if this is unshaded... if this is unshaded, it's a 4. So if this cell is unshaded, then it grows into this, but now it's also a 4, and I have 2 4s touching. So this can't be unshaded. It actually has to be shaded, and it's a 4. And we now have finished our 4. And that means we now have... oh, it could be an unshaded 1. You're right. It could be an unshaded 1. Well, that's irksome. So it's so this is always a 1 or a 4. Those are the 2 options. And so I guess if we want, we can always say there's always a border there. Let's see. Yeah, this being a 3, Garion points out, would be a huge problem, because if this is a 3, then we make all of those shaded, and that certainly isn't okay. So this is only a 1 or a 2. Yeah, this is a 3 or 4. I hear the strangest noise. What on earth is that? One moment while I investigate the weird noise I hear. I'm going to be right back. Of course, I go to investigate the sound, and then the sound stops, and now Tristan is convinced I'm crazy. But I agree with Josh. This being a 2 doesn't work either, because if this is a 2, I certainly can't shade that one. So if this is a 2, I shade both of these. But shading both of these is a pretty big problem, because it makes it impossible to grow the 4. So this is always a 1. And we can draw in the 1 there. And the 1 shaded one certainly isn't... Oh, no, it could be that one. Sorry, it could be that one. Let's see. Are we sure about that? Why does this have to be unshaded? Uh, 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 oh, right. Okay. So if this is a 4, so if the 4 grows to here, that's a problem. Because if the 4 grows to here, it means this is unshaded, which then means it's also a 4. So this is not a 4 and it's not shaded, I guess is the other way that you can put it. Okay, I agree with that. Oh, right. If this is shaded, there's a stone problem. If this is shaded, then the problem is I now have this gap that is just unfillable because I would need to fill this from above, but there's nothing above it. So yeah, so I can't do that either. So in fact, actually, my deduction before was actually correct. Uh, okay, so now that's gray because of the 1, which means this is green. Which means this is also gray because this needs to be at least that large. Okay, this is now certainly only a 1 or 2 based on the nature of the universe. Right, this is a minimum of 3 because it touches a 1 and a 2, so these two are in the same Omino for sure. Is Globaglob's point. This is now at least a 2, I suppose. Is not super exciting to me. David is claiming this can't be a 3. Oh, no, David is not claiming this can't be a 3. Okay, so I agree with David. This is definitely a 1, 2, or 3. I was trying to convince myself it couldn't be a 3. But David retracted that. It being a 3 would be very specific. Like there would be lots of sort of forced shapage, but I don't think it breaks as best I can tell. Martin says this is unshaded by stone, but I'm not 100% convinced of that. Oh no, it's at the top. It's at the top. Sorry, I was trying to convince myself at the bottom, but right. If this is shaded, now this 4 definite now that cell definitely gets unfilled, right? Because if this is shaded now and the 4 falls into this nook and cranny, that's always going to be undone. So yeah, so this is always unshaded. I agree. I was looking at the wrong part of the grid. Uh, uh, So now I think this is always shaded, because if this cell is shaded, I need to shade that for stowstone reasons. And if this is unshaded, I need to shade this in order to make this actually be none zero. So this is always shaded, which shades that regardless, and gives me a 1 here. So this is a minimum of 3. So there's a minimum of 3 shaded cells over here. So it's certainly 3, 4, or 5. 5 definitely doesn't work, because if this is a 5, all of these are shaded, and now this is a 7 Omino. Right. I can't shade this, because if I shade this now, that will create the problem that now I have this hole that doesn't get filled. So this is always unshaded, which means this always grows. Oh, but I don't know which way it grows. Sorry, I was going to say something nonsensical. Uh, 4 breaks the arrow in column 10. Yeah, I mean, this is certainly big, because it at least sees these 4 plus 3. So this is at least a 7. So this is 7, 8, or 9 for sure. And so this Omino can't grow down because there aren't 7s. Oh, there are 7 cells below it, I suppose. So if it grows down, no, it cannot grow down, because this can't be a 7, because there's only 5 shaded cells in a column. So actually, oh, it can be 6 if it itself is shaded. Sorry, it can be 6 if it itself is shaded. That's correct. But this now still can't grab that. So this Omino certainly makes it at least this far. And so that gets me some borders. It is a Tetris puzzle. It is very Tetris-y. Oh, sorry. I also said it didn't go down there. That was the whole point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so it can take that if it's a 6, and it's shaded. Otherwise, it comes down here. If it's a 6, it would make all of this shade. No, that doesn't work. This can't all be shaded. Right? Oh, maybe that's not true. Maybe this can all be shaded. I was thinking this was creating a stowstone problem here, but it's actually not. Okay. So now this being 4, now is a problem for the following reason. If this was a 4, the key point is I know these two aren't both shaded. And if these two aren't both shaded, that means that if this is 4, all of these are shaded, because I would need to get to 4. I'd need these 3 plus 1 of these 2, but that breaks immediately because of that. So this is now a 3 for sure. I agree. So that's a 3. Yeah, so that was a nice way to get at that. And so one of these 2 is shaded and is the last of the 3, so that's definitely unshaded regardless. But these aren't both shaded, so this can't be a 6 anymore. Because, so that's the point, is that this, remember, this is minimum of 6, but this was only 6 if all of these were shaded, and that can't happen anymore because this is a 3. So this, in fact, does not take that cell, which means it grows and takes that cell. This now grows and takes that cell for what it is worth. Let's see. Is it a problem if this grows and takes that cell? That I am not sure of yet. Right. And this can only be 6 or 7 because it's these 4 plus either all of these 3 or 2 of these 3. So it's not 8 or 9 is what Emma is saying. Right. This can't be 3 anymore, Selena points out, because I can't shade both of these, and I would need to shade both of these if this was a 3. That's true. Yes. Okay. So now these two are either both shaded or both unshaded. But if they're both unshaded, then by this 3, it means all of these are shaded. But that's a problem because we've created a 4-cell 3 region. So in fact, these are shaded, which means all of this is unshaded. That included is also unshaded. And it's a 6. That's true. Good point. Because now the 3 we know is counting one more cell in here, but the 6 is not counting itself by math. So there's only one more shaded cell. It's one of these two, so this is always unshaded. Regardless of how that works out. So now this cell is a 3, for sure, because there are that many things above it. So this 4, 5 does not join it, and the 3, in fact, goes down for sure. Oh, this cell's been 1, 2, or 3 for the entire time. I just did not notice it at any point. That this was forced to be small. The infinite Selena problem. Oh, this just is a 4. Is a good point because we can now do the math. This being shaded creates a stowstone problem because now there is no way to fill this cell. So this is a 6 to finish up this. Okay, and so this is a 2. This is not a 3. This is a... Oh, actually, we know exactly how this finishes. That's a 4, and that's a 4, and that's a 3. And all of this is green. Now this is a 1, and so we now know that's shaded. If that's shaded, it just insta-breaks, right? Yeah, if that's shaded, it insta-breaks because if this is shaded, now this weird scoopy 6 falls on top of a platform and this cell is never filled. So that's green for what it is worth. We don't want that kind of hole around here. The rest of column 9 is shaded, right? The rest of column 9, there's only 4 left. So we get that. Okay, so that certainly can't be shaded. Because if that is shaded, we now create an even bigger hole. So this is a shame Omino. So this, whatever it is, it grows. So that's definitely green. I feel like I should be able to visualize what's happening in this column. Oh, I don't have to visualize it. I just have to count, Emma points out, because now the rest of column 10 just needs to be shaded. So these are dos. This green needs to grow because it's not a 1. For whatever that matters. Yeah, this arrow is at least 6, which is quite interesting. Yeah, there's only 2 shaded cells down here. Do they have to be down there, actually? I'm pretty sure this has to be shaded, because if this is... Yeah, right. I can't not shade this cell. Given that I need to shade at least one of these, if I don't shade this one, it's a big problem. And I certainly can't shade either of these two, because if I shade either of these two, I run out of space to fill these, right? So it's either I shade that one or I shade that one. Okay, I'm starting to like this genre, even though I'm not claiming I'm getting any better at the genre, but I'm starting to at least enjoy the weirdness of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so this is now at most 5 for whatever that is worth. Oh, I don't know why I never actually bordered in this 1. Oh, row 2's 3 actually finishes here, just by counting, is being pointed out. That is true. Okay, so this definitely bumps back that way because of the fact that it touches Shimamino. So this can only be... Actually, it can only be a 4, right? I think this can only be a 4 now. Because it can't be a 3 or a 1, so it's a 2 or a 4. But 2 leaves you with this funny problem that if you've not done many Philomenoes, you might not have seen before, that if this is a domino, now what am I doing with this domino? And the problem is I either leave it the same, in which case I've got a domino touching a domino, or I split it, in which case I've got a monomino touching a monomino. Which, if you know anything about my taste in Philomeno puzzles, is like the worst imaginable thing. So those are all 4. Oh, and this is unshaded. Okay, and now I need to shade 3 of these 4 cells for whatever that is worth. I mean, that seems like a lot for what it's worth. Yeah, we could just draw in this... Oops, this diagonal is being pointed out. There aren't many more unshaded cells here because we know this is a minimum of 7. So this is 7, 8, 9, or 10, right? But it's not 10 because there's already one shaded cell. So this is 7, 8, or 9. I think we can have 2 more unshaded cells on this diagonal, right? because this is a 10 by 10 grid, I think. Oh, right. Sorry, it doesn't count itself. Right. Sorry, I'm backwards. It's not counting itself. Right. There's only 9 cells. Right. Okay. 10 minus itself. Right. 10 minus the green minus itself. Okay. For what it's worth, there's always a border above this arrow, because if it's a 1, there's a border above it, and if it's a 2, well, the 2 can't. This is shaded, and this assuredly can't be a shaded 2 that joins it. Let's see. Ilm says this has to be. It's the 4 arrow breaks. Oh, I see. Let's see. Yeah, we still need 3 of these to be shaded. Right. So if this is shaded, it's a 1, and then both of these are unshaded, and now the 4 can't work. So this is unshaded. For what it's worth. Right. This being 1 doesn't work anymore, because if this is a 1, it's saying there's 2, or there's that both of these are shaded, but that breaks because you're not allowed to have shaded things touching. So this is a 2 or a 3. I agree with Ambrose there. So this certainly has to connect to the left or to the right at the very least. Could connect both, of course. If this is a 2, then it might connect both plausibly. Yeah, we need to shade 5 of 7 cells in this column. Several people in chat are pointing out. This is actually fairly restricted now, because it's at most, I guess it's at most 4. And it certainly can't be 1, right? Yeah, it can't be 1, because if this was 1, then we would be saying all of these are unshaded. But we'd also unshade the cell below it, so that doesn't work. This one I'm not quite so sure what exactly is happening with it. Right. I am completely forgetting to think at all about the like-sized Ominos can't touch after falling rule. Which is a good rule to remember exists. So yeah, so this is definitely going to end up touching a 4 and a 3. And it can't be 2, because if this is a 2, then it breaks the 4 arrow, because remember 3 of these cells are shaded, so these can't both be unshaded. So this grows at least 1. So this is minimum 5. I agree with that assessment. So yeah, so this is 5 plus. I'm gonna guess that one that Global is talking about. Global said row 4, column 8 if it's shaded, but it's already unshaded. Uh, 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 just says if this goes left, it either breaks the large region at the bottom or breaks Tetris. I can't visualize that yet, I admit. Okay, I can't shade both of these. So that already, if I shade both of these, this becomes a 9, so that doesn't work. And so that means I really need at least 4 of these 5 cells to be shaded. Is there some other pair that I can't shade both of? If I shade this, I immediately unshade both of those and shade all of that. That breaks, right? Oh no, sorry. That's not true. Sorry, I did that. I did the math wrong there. I don't think it breaks if I do shade this. Let's see. Mort believes we can't make this a 3 without making a 3 Omino that's too big. So, this being a 3 would, of course, require that to be there. So this would certainly have to grow there. It would be unshaded as well. For what it's worth. So we'd end up with like 3 shaded cells down here or something. Can't quite figure this out. I'm gonna go back and try and understand Glob's point, which is that if this is shaded, it can't grow left. Because that will definitely create problems. So if this is shaded, it's a 1. And so that becomes unshaded by the 2 because the 2 grows. There's another unshaded in row 9, 10. Okay. So that's the okay. So here's how to think about this. So we already know one of these two is unshaded. And so if this is shaded, that's also unshaded. That's 2. That's everything. And so if this is shaded, then now I'd have to shade all of this, except that breaks very badly for Stowstone reasons. That's Globaglob's point, is sort of combining the at least one of these is unshaded, plus this being shaded would make that unshaded. So in fact, this is unshaded and that's shaded, and so this is an 8. And so that means that now everything on here is shaded. We can delete the diagonal. Oops. That is fairly wild. I won't disagree. This now certainly grows that way. We should certainly have a border there. This is now a 2. For whatever that is worth. Oh, right, I can unshade these. And now I've got my 3 unshadeds in this column, so all of these are shaded. This 2, 3, 4 certainly is not part of that whole institution. Oh, I can certainly do all of that. So now I know where the 2 grows. The 2 grows there. And so now this needs to grow to be... it needs to be of size 3 exactly, actually, because it can't be of size 4. So that's a 3 and that's a 1. This is green because it touches this. Over down here. Right. This can't be shaded because that would be horrible for Tetris purposes. There would be no way to fill this because you can't do the rotate it once you've dropped it in business. But now I actually do need to shade some stuff to go into this hole that we've created. So those are both shaded, is what chat is collectively working together to help me figure out. And now if I shade this, it's the last shaded cell in the column, and I've again created an unfillable hole, so I have to do that. Like that. And so now this is just a 3, Ilm points out. Okay, assuredly this can't be gray now, right? Yeah, if this is gray, that's just a nightmare. So we cannot do that, because now when this drops on here, I'm going to create a hole under a hole there that is unfillable. So this is now green, and this, remember, was minimum size 5, so it assuredly grows. Okay, this is, I think, now forced to be a 4, because neither of these can be a 1, but neither can either of them be a 2, and they can't be a 3, so they just have to be 4, and so all of that 4 gets filled in. This 2 finishes here. Like that. Oh, wow. Yeah, this giant shaded thing can't be an 8. Garion and Ilm point out that is an absurd step. Can't be an 8 because it would definitely touch this 8 after falling, so it has to grow, which means it has to take that cell at least. So it is at least of size 9. However, if it takes that cell, it has to take that cell as well because of this piece down here. Oh, that's not necessarily true. Sorry. It could be like, it could take that and then that, which would be all okay, I think. Right. So yeah, the three clue, Emma has the correct way to think about this. The three clue is definitely injecting a green cell into one of these places. Because the three clue is going to have to grow. And so because of that, we need to have a gray. Right. I guess the point is, therefore, these can't. Sorry, let me say this as elegantly as possible. One of these is green, so one of these is gray. And if one of these is gray, at least that one has to be gray, because otherwise, if I try and make that shape, it doesn't work. It creates a hole. There we go. There is the more elegant way to say it. So this is a 3 or a 4, depending on whether it is shaded or unshaded. If this is shaded, it's a 4, but it's lying. So this is unshaded, which means it is a 4. Oh, because it's touching a 2 Omino I didn't mark. There we go. That would make life a little bit easier if I marked the 2 Omino. Yeah, that would have been a good idea. Yeah, so one of these two is shaded, and the other is a 3, for what it's worth. Right. If this grows up, Garion points out that creates a huge problem, because then that makes this green, and now the 3 makes that green, and now we don't have enough grays in this area. So the 4 can't grow up. Oops. And so that is definitely a 4. Let's see. Yeah. Column 4 only has 3 shaded cells left, so all of those are gray. That seems like that's likely to help a lot. This can't be a size 4, so that's always gray. That's always part of the 4, because the 4 is unshaded. Okay. Graying this assuredly creates enormous problems, right? If I gray this cell, now after this all falls, this doesn't make it to the bottom anymore because it gets stuck on this Pentomino, so I can't gray that. So I must green that and gray that. And my 3 is done. And my 9 is done. Let's see. This column has one more gray left. It's not that one, because if this is the last gray of the column, then I end up with a hole there. So this one's always green, for what it's worth. Right. This can't be of size 3, so it grows, but it can't be of size 4 either, so it grows. Speaking of this 4 grows, a few people in chat team up to explain. That's all of the gray for this column, so that's green. This touches a 4, so it grows into at least an F. So that is gray. This can't be gray because it would create a hole when it fell on top of this, so that's always green. This can't grow up because now the F pentomino would create a hole when it fell. Globaglob points out. This Omino never grows up for what it's worth, because if it grew up, it would be a 2, and it would touch a 2. So if it's a 2, it's that kind of 2. This column still needs a gray, so it's that one. Let's see. Let's see. Row 1, column 7. Because of that being green, that meant that was gray. Thank you. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now this being a 3 doesn't work, because if this is a... Oh, right. This is just green just by virtue of the fact that if it was gray, it would join this. And that would be a problem. But I think this being a 3 now is problematic because it doesn't have a place to go that is a 3, because it can't touch this 3, and it can't grow down far enough. So this is now a 2. And if that's a 2, that means that had to be a gray 1. Which meant this 2 had to grow like this. Wait, was I wrong? Oh, it could join the other 3, right? Sorry, it could join the other 3, right? It could be, people are saying L, but I think they mean like it could be a vertical 3, right? It could be a vertical 3. Touching a vertical 2 would be okay. This is definitely a 5, though, now. Regardless. Which means that this can't be a 5, because it will end up touching the 5, so this will grow. And be big-ish. Which means one of these 2 is gray. Whichever one of them should work. Oh, no, that one... No, I think it's fine. One of these 2 is gray. Probably I have to do math and think about exactly how all of this is going to Tetris itself. Let's see. Right. Okay. So there's one more shaded cell in the entire puzzle. And so the point is, if that shaded cell is there, this is a 7 touching a 7. So I can't do that. So I just need to keep in mind there's only one shaded cell in the entire universe. And so it's not there. And so now, in order to assure that after falling this works, I need to shade that cell. And that's the last shaded cell in the column. And so I get this shape, and then I can fill in that is a 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's an 8. This is now a 2, so that's a 2. And now we need to say this assuredly always grows there. So at the very... Oh, I can also fill in that this is a 3. That probably will also make my life easier. But this always grows there regardless of how things work out. And it's not a 2. So it can't grow there, actually, because if this grows there, now it needs to be at least a 4, and that doesn't work. So, in fact, this is a 1, and these are 3s. And so now this 3 comes over here, and now we have a shame Omino to finish. That was a lovely sequence of puzzles. I feel like if I was setting this, I would not want to keep track of the things still touching each other at the end rule. I think that would drive me that would drive me batty. So a huge applause to Jay for keeping track of that, because it was a very cool rule to have. It's very on theme and everything. But I would not ever have dreamt of trying to keep track of that. Very cool puzzle. I liked that a lot. Alrighty, I am going to take a quick break and return shortly with more puzzlage. So see everyone in just a moment. All right, welcome back. I'm going to nudge this grid a little bit. The way this renders on my screen is slightly messed up because of the thing I use to display stuff, but I want to do the puzzle, so we're going to do it anyway, even though it's a little messed up, but it won't look too messed up for you if I crop it like that. So we will just bump things around until it looks like that. Should work. All right. So let us have a look at the rules of this puzzle. I don't completely understand why I see like a black L over here. What is happening there? I don't know. Something weird is going on in the background. Let's move this up here. Weird. It's like showing me part of the grid over here, like above my head. I don't know why. Something is screwed up with the scene, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, so we have here a black or white coral puzzle by KNT. So a coral is to be drawn in the grid. The coral is orthogonally connected, contains no 2x2 areas, and does not lock in any cells. That is all orthogonally connected groups of non-coral cells or orthogonally connected to the boundary. So that's sort of like the cave clues, like the wall pieces make it to the edge. Coral is basically cave, but with this no 2x2 rule, I think. Clues outside the grid give the lengths of either non-coral or coral segments in the row or column. Where clues are given, they are complete, but not necessarily in the correct order. No row or column clues for both non-coral and coral segments at once, though this does not necessarily mean the possible non-coral and coral clues for any row or column must be different. Okay, so we have sort of a Japanese sums style of clue here. This is a 12 by 12 grid, by the way, I believe. Yes, this is 12 by 12. And so we have to draw in this thing. But we have sort of an ambiguous ambiguous clue order and ambiguous clue type. Yeah, you're not going to be able to see the right border. You just have to trust me that that's the right border. So I think the right part is just saying that this clue, the 222, might be the clue for both. They're not, that KNT is not promising that this 222 is not the clue for both. So 333 is pretty restricted if you think about it. And so the no 2x2 for coral rule, I think, means that these two 333s can't both be coral. But I don't think that necessarily tells us a whole lot. Hey, Sarah, how are you doing? So my claim is if I put two 3x3s that are 333s that are both coral in these columns, I definitely have a 2x2 and that breaks. Now, is it a problem if these are both water instead? See, I can make this yellow and this blue and say that I'm sure if I look at my threes, the things I'm sure are yellow are these, and the things I'm sure are blue are these. And I can squint at this and try and decide if I think it's a problem if these are both. I guess I should not use blue because I'm going to ultimately use blue for the water. I'll use red here, I suppose. Uh, uh, so those are all the same. Ketchup and mustard. So yeah, so it's possible. I think all of this is all water. I guess I was picturing the coral was going to be purple, but the coral could be orange. I'm trying to see if there's a row clue that it would interact with if these were water. If these were both water is what I mean. And I don't immediately see a problem if these are both water. Now this 2223 one, keeping in mind that the 2 and the 3 aren't the same color, the 2s and the 3s aren't necessarily in the same order. If I look at this row, this is actually telling me that for sure these 2 are the same color and these 2 are the same color. Because I definitely have these. The right edge is cut off, but that's just a formatting issue with a combination of stuff. It's not fixable. What you can see here, if you look at the very edge of the screen, is that the grid actually runs into my number pad. Let's see, and the 1134 is something. Right. Okay. So yeah. So whatever that color is, if we sort of slide it along, we actually have several other cells that have to be that color. So it's that one. So that one also has to be. This one certainly also is that color. I can mark. Because if I don't make that this color, I can't make this work. That one as well. And I guess that one we already got. Right. Okay. That tells me that yellow and red are different. Right. That's the point. Wait, does it tell me that yellow and red are different? Couldn't yellow and red be the same and just be not gray? Yeah, I agree with David. These 2 are the same color. Oh, right. So I just don't have space. Right. The gap color. Right. There's no 2-length gap. Right. The gaps in this row are all of length 1. So if yellow and red were the same color, that would imply that they were part of the 2, but then that doesn't work because the gray is the thing that's part of the 2. So these are in fact different colors. Which means that in fact there is a gap here, which I think forces the entire structure of this row to be as follows. I think it's yellow, 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 right? All of that I think is forced. So What? No? Oh, because this could both be red. Right. Okay, yeah, these could both be red, right. Uh, right. Knowing that there's a border here doesn't quite tell me what I want to know. Uh, but it does in this row tell me that these are all yellow because I need a length 4 clue, and that assuredly uh, actually looks like that now. So that is something. Uh, uh, okay, so if this 2 is red, it's going to be very tricky to make it not create a 2x2 of red, which is fine potentially. If red is water, it's okay to create a 2x2 of red. I'm just noting that it is going to be challenging to avoid. Uh, so if yellow is the coral, that doesn't work, I think. If yellow is coral, I need all of these to be yellow, and I don't think there's room for that. Because of the 2x2 structure. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so yellow can't be coral because if yellow, oh no, never mind. Sorry, it could connect over through there. Never mind. Sorry. I am saying nonsense. But if yellow is the coral, it can't connect through here. So if yellow is the coral, it must connect over through this side for what it's worth. Uh, uh, yeah, row 3 has this same structure where this clue forces that all of these are the same color. Whatever color that might be. Make it green. Actually, in this color, or in this column, we actually can extend the gray to learn that gray is green, actually. Oh no, sorry, we can't learn that gray is green, but we can at least learn that oh no, sorry, we don't learn anything about gray. Sorry, I misread where things were. Uh uh see, people are saying this is yellow either way, because yellow and red I know are actually different. I can just put a bar here just to remind myself yellow and red are actually different. So this is a case where all of the gaps have size 1 or 2. And so regardless of whether the gap has size 1 or size 2, that is yellow. So I think that cell is definitely yellow. Likewise, that can't be... Wait, do I even know yellow is the color that's being counted here? I think this clue could be for red instead of for yellow, right? Oh, right. This would certainly be yellow if it was counting red as well, right? This is yellow regardless of whether it is counting red, because if it's counting red, then of course that's yellow. Uh, Likewise, this is also always red, because if it's yellow, I can't make it part of a 3, and I can't make a 3 long gap, so that's always red regardless. Uh, uh, so yes, the same thing true here. This has to be red. I don't think so, because there's some wiggle room in this row, right? I don't think you can alternate because there's a gap of 2. Emma has the point. Yeah, there is wiggle room. We could only do that here because of this. It's row 4, column 8, red. How on earth am I getting that? Oh, is it because this can't be the same color as this? Is that the point? If these two are the same color, then it would have to spread like this, and now there's not enough room. Ah, yes. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, I agree. These two cells can't be the same color because of how because it would screw over the column. So therefore, this is always the opposite of that. Uh, Column 8's last two pieces are always at the bottom. Yeah, these are all always the same color. Uh, but I don't know what that color is. I don't think. Uh, oh. Wait, is that uh uh if these aren't yellow, then this cell's definitely yellow. I can use orange for now. I'm gonna use orange later, but if orange isn't yellow, then that cell's yellow because the yellow has to connect out regardless. Uh, and then that forces orange, orange. If orange is yellow, then that forces orange, orange. Okay, so I agree. Because of the weird structure of this, Selena has a good point, which is that this yellow either is orange, which forces this pattern, or the yellow isn't orange, in which case the yellow comes down here and then forces the same pattern. So these are always all orange, which is interesting because it lets me sort of say at least that it's not that color, which is the color that's counted by this row for whatever that is worth. And this cell is not orange, so this cell is gray circle, I suppose. Just to have this descend completely into chaos. Let's see. I suspect we're not going to make it much further in this puzzle before the coloring collapses. I could be wrong, of course, but I don't think we are. Yeah, currently I'm just using colors for every layer. I'm looking at the interaction of the 222 and the 333, and I'm noting I don't think this 222 can be the same color as the 333. But I'm not 100% sure. Oh, no, because I can have 2x2s as long as the 2x2s are in the water. Never mind, sorry. These can't both be coral, I'm pretty convinced. Yes, I think we know that yellow is not... yellow is not red, that we know, and orange is not gray circle, we also know. Let's see, Martin says this is what we're counting in column 1. Because remember, that is a great spot. That is glorious. So there's absolutely no there's no wiggle room in column 1. And so at the top, I either start with a 1, in which case this is definitely the thing we're counting, or I start with a 3 or a 4, in which case, in all of those cases, that's this. So the thing that tells us is that these are always red. And I can go ahead and mark with a little red X that I know we're counting red in this column. Now, does that let me do anything with the yellow? Because we have to have a 1 and a 3 up here, right? Because this is yellow, so these are both red. Because they're around the yellow. This is a 1, 3. In some orders, there's 1 yellow up here, and so these down here are a 1 and a 4. So the 4 assuredly takes both of these regardless, which means that 4... Okay, so which means that all of these are red, and means that orange is yellow. Okay. And we do have no checkerboarding here, because if I checkerboard this, it does break. So by no checkerboarding, these are both red. Because if I make this yellow, I need to connect... whichever one is the coral, I need to connect the coral to the coral, and however I do that, I'm going to make the water unconnectable to the edge. So this is red and this is red by the no checkerboard theorem. Okay, so we've got a lot more sort of stuff happening now. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Row 7 is definitely counting, is now definitely counting yellow. If I look at it. Because we've got 3 reds in a row, and there aren't 3 reds in a row here. So so this is now counting yellow. Is that true? Can't I do like... I would need to do both of the... Right. No, you're right. So yeah, if I want to avoid making a 2x2, I would need to yellow... In red, I would need to yellow all of those cells and one of these two. And whichever of those two I yellow, I have now exceeded my 4 yellow cells in the row. So red is actually water. And I can go back and blue X those cells. And yellow is actually coral. And I can go back and coral that cell. Okay, so I don't think I need the lines in this puzzle, at least mostly, excepting where I am emphasizing something. Okay, so now, oh no, never mind. I was gonna say, so if this is counting coral, that's okay, I think. Right, this is now coral, so now I can officially blue this cell. Because I need to avoid that. 2x2. And now this officially has to be orange because I need to connect to the top and the bottom, and we've created sort of, this is the only through way, but this is a 3-3-3, so I can blue that and orange that. And I can avoid checkerboard, so I can blue all of that. I can blue that as well. Avoid a checkerboard, so I can blue that. And now this is a 3-3 again. So actually this column now actually is done. This needs to be orange in order to connect this into the rest of the grid. This needs to be orange by checkerboarding. So that is blue. So we've got all of that happening. I'm not convinced that this needs to connect because I think it can connect around this way. Oh, no, you're right. Sorry, you're right. Because the upside, the upside connecting up that way doesn't even fix it. In fact, it does actually have to connect up this side and here because this is the only way sort of through this giant barrier. And then this is the only way through the giant barrier. So we've got that. And so now this clue is definitely blue. Oh, we get one more. We get that one as well. As being orange, because again, we've got to get the coral there. Okay, we've got room for right. We've got room for 3 length 2 blues in this row, because I can't fit 2 of them over here, and so I have to put them in both of these. And then I've got one over here that goes somewhere. Right. Green now is blue because otherwise we would have a 2 by 2. Garion points out. So green is blue. Oops. And now to avoid a checkerboard, we need to make that orange. This row 8 coral. So the coral is sort of still snaking its way down, but now this has become a dead end, so it needs to make it at least that far. Column 8. Right, column 8 has become done. We actually knew that this was orange a long time ago, but we never marked it. Right, we've finished the 4 clue in this column, so we get to orange that and blue that by the no 2 by 2 rule. Very wise people for paying attention to what the clues say. Okay. How do I know? Oh, this is row 10. Sorry. I don't think I understand how I know. Well, I guess I think I know this does count blues, right? I just never marked it. I guess I might as well mark that one counts blues as well. Row 7 clue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right. What are we doing? I think we're just saying this is always coral. Yeah, this is always coral by this clue. I'm guessing that is what people wanted to say. And so now this column now is not counting coral. It is now counting water, which means that's blue and that's coral and that's blue and that's blue. Connectivity forces that out over there like that. Yes, this coral certainly needs to escape. Agree. Let's see. Can I figure out what's going on with this column now? I could make it count water. 2, 1, 1. I could also easily make it count coral, I think. So I'm pretty sure this would work either way. Let's see. Garion says if this is coral, then I can't make the column work. Because if this is coral, the column is definitely counting water. But now I definitely don't have room for the 3 1s. So that's always water, which means that's always coral, which means that's always water, which means that's always water by by things. Oh, by the way, this row has been counting water for some time, which means that's coral, which by the no checkerboard means that's coral, which means that's water. What's wrong with column 1, Isaiah? This now needs to be coral because I need to connect it, right? This whole corner over here needs to connect back, so that's always coral. Likewise, that's always coral, same reason. Let's see. Okay, well, this is definitely counting coral now. Having done that. Okay, so this is my length 2 coral. And my other corals are length 1, so that is blue. Now, just by connectivity, all of this is blue because the coral can't get there. And now one of these two is coral. But if it's that one, the puzzle is broken. Because if this one is coral, that coral can't connect to its friends, so it's not that one, it's that one. That is coral. Oh, column 1 still needs a coral. Good. Let's see. Oh, right, and it connects to its friends. Good point. Okay, I don't think I have room for a 2, 2, 3 of water in this column. Yeah, I don't have room for a 2, 2, 3 of water, so the 2, 2, 3 must be coral, which means that these are both water, which by checkerboard means, or connectivity means that's water. By connectivity, that's coral. And these are both coral, and that's coral by making sure the column fits. Stuff. Okay, so now this row's clue is water. Because I've got a 3 here, and then I've got 2 things which can't possibly join to be a 2. So there's a length 2 water and a length 3 water. Let's see. So that's certainly water because I can't fit all the water over here, so I need at least a length 2 water here, which means that's definitely water. Let's see. This coral needs to escape is a good point. So all of that becomes coral just to get it out under this water. So these both become water. That's my length 3 water. So now this is a length 2 water. So that makes both of those coral, makes that water. So we've got all of that filled in. That is water by avoiding a checkerboard. See. Okay. There's now multiple 2s in this column in orange, so that means this is counting blue and not orange. So I can't blue this cell anymore. And I need 3 1s. Yeah, I need 3 1s and a 2, so I have to blue the rest of the column in order to make that work, which makes that be a coral to avoid a 2 by 2. This needs to be a coral for connectivity. This needs to be a coral to connect the bottom piece to the top piece. Let's see. Right, this is 2, 2, 2 of water, so that's always water. Just for the record. This is coral by the row clue, which needs to connect up there. Good. Row 3 tells me that is there, so that connects a coral down there. This column is definitely coral now, for what it is worth. There's a 1, a 1, and a 2. Okay. Well, this is definitely water now, if you look at it, because there's only a 1 coral left, and so if this is a coral, then the rest of the row would be water and it would be isolated. This needs to be coral because whatever this coral is, it needs to connect, and now that's the only way that it could possibly connect. Likewise, that needs to be coral because otherwise there's no way that this area sort of connects in, which now makes that water, which now makes that coral because of the row here, which now makes that water because of avoiding a 2 by 2. And now that needs to be coral by the 2, 2, 3 clue. So that is water. Okay. Oh, right. This is a 1, 1, 2 clue, and now the 2 is done. So that's a 1, which makes that be coral and that be water. And now we have finished the puzzle. What an insane idea. I really enjoyed that. But yeah, that was a crazy idea for a rule set, but I quite enjoyed this puzzle. I found that very entertaining. Alrighty. Yeah, very, very cool puzzle idea. I liked that quite a bit. Alrighty, I'm going to take a quick break, and I'll be back in just a moment with some more puzzle action. So see you all in just a bit. All right, welcome back. I'm going to do another K&T pencil puzzle. This one I know Simon did, so some of you may have seen this one, Cracking the Cryptic. But I wanted to do it anyway, so I'm going to. We need to draw a loop that moves orthogonally between cells and does not visit any cell more than once. Cells containing clues must not be visited by the loop. Every unvisited cell, and only those that do not contain clues, must be part of a pentomino, areas of 5 orthogonally connected cells. So the clue cells are basically just dead, because they can't be visited by the loop, and they don't get to be part of pentominos. You too. No pentomino shape can repeat, including rotations and no pentomino shape may repeat, including rotations and reflections, and they must not touch each other, not even diagonally. Not all 7 possible pentomino shapes must be used. A clue specifies the number of cells belonging to pentominos in the indicated direction. Okay, so for the entire puzzle, we can't repeat pentomino shapes. The 0 here is useful, because it means all of these are going to be part of this. Because they need to be part of the loop. Only one of these is part of a pentomino. Let's see, 2 of those are parts of pentominos. 4 of those. 6 of these is a lot, especially given that they can't touch. 6 seems huge. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So these can't all be parts of pentominos, because that would be a size 6 pentomino, because remember, the pentominos can't touch each other even diagonally. So one of these 2 must be part of a pentomino. And it can't only be that one, because if only this one is part of a pentomino, now this is a dead end. So what I'm claiming is this is always part of a pentomino. This cell right here. Now, what am I going to do with that? I have no idea. But I now know a cell that is part of a pentomino. Now, I know at least 3 of these cells are parts of pentominos. And I know at least 4 of these cells are parts of pentominos. So that's at least 8 cells that are part of pentominos here, but they can't touch. Okay, so I guess maybe there's easy math to do. If 4 of these are part of pentominos, that's 4 of these that definitely can't be part of pentominos. And that's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, and there's not enough. Okay, so I need to make this also part of a pentomino. So my math... Oh, sorry, no, not quite. Sorry, I think what I did there was wrong. This is not part of the pentomino, so it's part of the loop, because of the no diagonals Martin points out. I should remember that there are rules to the puzzle. So that gives me that. Hey, Carl. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so 4 of these 5 are part of a pentomino. Boy, this is going to be tough to make happen, isn't it? I guess I could do something like that, except that would repeat shapes. I have to be careful here because, like, I think if I make this not part of a pentomino, I think it just breaks, because if this is not part of a pentomino, all of these are part of a pentomino. Now, at most, one of these 4 is part of a pentomino, and I would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at most. So that's definitely part of a pentomino, because of that. And I think exactly the same argument applies here. If this is not part of a pentomino, then all of these are parts of pentominos. At most, one of these is part of a pentomino. And in fact, actually, at most one of the entire row then, because of the diagonal rule, actually, would be part of a pentomino. And that's certainly not enough. So that's definitely part of a pentomino, and it's certainly not the same pentomino as that one. So this is another pentomino. So we've got those two sort of at odds. Now, now can I do a similar thing here? So I know at least 4 of these 6 cells are parts of pentominos. Let's see. So if this is not part of a pentomino, aka if it's not part of the yellow pentomino, then this is also not part of the yellow pentomino, and it's therefore not part of any pentomino, and therefore all of these are part of a pentomino. But then they all become part of the green pentomino, and now the 4 clue is definitely unfillable. So this is definitely part of the yellow pentomino. I wonder about this cell. Because I know it, again, at least... So now it's really at least 3 of these. Yeah, so if this cell is not green... See, the problem is these could still be green. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, maybe. Okay, maybe that's possible. We do have to keep in mind that, like, the loop is either going to go over the top of here or it's not going over the top of here, but either way, we have to keep in mind that the loop is going to have to be able to move through stuff. If the loop doesn't go on top of here... It is true the pentominoes can't even touch diagonally, so yeah, there's some loopy stuff over here that my brain isn't quite prepared to process yet, I think. There's only 2 in this whole column. There's 3 down here. 1 over here. Oh, I can turn on row column labels, can't I? I can turn on row column labels, and I can actually move the screen a little bit over so that you can't see the thing hanging off the edge. There we go. Okay, that's a little bit better. So yeah, I agree with Nikolai. This needs to be pentomino, because if it's not, it's dead end. Because we would have the rest would be. So that's definitely part of a pentomino. So it is one of these 2 that the loop goes through. And so whichever one it is, the cell below it is also omitted. So if that's yellow, it now forces this over down here. Does that break? I think that breaks. So I think if this is yellow, follow me on this journey. I think this breaks. I'm going to make it, I'm going to make it orange. Just imagine that this is still yellow. That forces the loop through here. And now I can only yellow at most 1 more of these cells, and I can't make any of the rest of them be part of a pentomino. And so that means that there's now at most 1, 2, 3, 4 pentominos for that clue. That doesn't work. So that cell's not yellow. That cell is green. And the loop does come through there like that. Okay, and now the loop definitely does go across the 3 because now we have entered this area. I can turn this in center only mode, I believe. So we've got all of that now. Okay, I do know only 2 of these. Okay, so that can't be part of a pentomino, because if this is part of a pentomino, that's loop, and the loop dies. So this is definitely loop. And so now, if this is part of a pentomino, now it's the end of the pentomino, and now the loop dies. So this is also loop, which means the loop definitely comes there and there at the very least. Which now makes this definitely part of a pentomino, because we do still need 2 pentominos. Okay, and so now this can't be a dead end. So that must be part of the green pentomino. And so now the green pentomino is definitely a P. And so that can't be yellow because I can't repeat the P, right? Also, the loop definitely visits here because this definitely touches this diagonally. Also, the loop definitely visits here, actually, because the green can't get there anymore. So that actually forces this corner. Actually, the P is finished. The P looks like that. So these are both visited by the loop. So that's a corner. We can handle that appropriately. But that now is visited because if it wasn't yellow, would be forced to be a P. So we can do that like that. And so now in order to make the 6 clue correct, that is yellow and that is purple. This is a corner, so we can take the corner. This is a corner, so we can take the corner. Okay, so this could be an F, or it could be that we take that, and then this is now part of an omino that's going to extend over that way. I'm not quite sure which one I think is more likely at the moment. I don't have an opinion. Let's see. Let's see. Martin says if this is purple, it forces this to be a P. All right, because this is definitely loop. I should mark that I know that, because this is at most kitty corner to this. So this is not part of it. But how do I know it wouldn't be something like an... Oh, I guess right. So if this is purple, this is a dead end unless this is also purple, but now it's a P, right? So this can't be purple. Okay. I agree with you. So just to walk you through, if this is purple, this is now at risk of being a dead end, so it must be purple. But now we're a pentomino that contains a square, and so we must be a P. But we've already used P, so we can't do that. So this is never purple. This is always part of the loop. Okay. In row 4, the 2 loop cells on the left must connect to each other, otherwise we break loop parity. That's true. I can't have 3 crossing. So yeah, so there's a horizontal sort of kink because basically any line you draw through, and I usually try and draw it not through the grid, but through the lines between the grid. So like, for example, just to show you what I mean, if I draw this line in, the loop has to cross it an even number of times, because every time you cross the loop, you switch between the inside and the outside. And I draw it on the edge because then I don't have to worry about the loop riding the edge, because loop segments never do that. And so Jay Dyer's point is currently we're at one crossing, so there needs to be either one crossing more or three crossings more, but because of this 5, we don't have room for 3 crossings more. I don't think it does anything for now, but it will be very helpful later, I imagine. Let's see. Okay, there's still something over there. This isn't yellow because it breaks row 5, column 11. Right. We're right. Because of this corner here, now if this is yellow, we create a dead end. So this is not yellow. This is part of the loop. And so now, actually, now this is an F regardless. We don't know which F it is yet, but it is definitely an F. Funnily enough. F is not usually the popular pentomino, I will be honest. Let's see, we still know there's 2 thingies up here. There's 4 up here, and we're running out of room for the 4, actually. One of them could very well be there. Let's see. Of course, starting to run out of clues. 3, so yeah, it's 2 of those. Exactly. If that's pentomino, that's pentomino, of course. Like if that's pentomino, that's pentomino, but I don't see anything there that breaks a clue. I was trying to see if there's any clues pointing at any things where like the dead ends would force too much pentomino. Row 7, column 14 being pentomino forces too many in row 7. Right. Because yeah, if this is a pentomino, then the loop has to go around it, which then forces the pentomino to grow there, which doesn't work. Yeah. So if you imagine that this is part of the blue pentomino, the problem is then this comes around here. Oops, I went to edge only now. And now this comes around here, and now this is blue, and the clue is broken. So that's not part of a pentomino, is the point. That is loop. And so now this is not part of a. Actually, sorry. I guess if this is part of a pentomino, that's part of a pentomino, is what we know. Row 6, column 11 is a loop no matter which way the pentomino grows. That's true, because if the pentomino grows this way, it's loop because it touches it, and if the pentomino grows this way, it's loop because we've got a corner there that hits it. So this is always loop. So one of these 2 exactly is pentomino. And we need 3 of 4 of these to be pentomino. Oh, sorry, no, it's 2 of 3. It's 2 of 3 because there's one up there. Uh, uh, yes, this can't be Pentomino, points out Garion, because if it is, then it's got to grow here, which then forces, because now, once it's grown there, now this column has exhausted its Pentomino, so then it grows there, and then there, and we have now forced, in a very weird way, I think we've broken the loop over here. Oh, it just breaks the one clue. Sorry. That's way easier than the, like, I was like, I'm sure the loop clue is broken, but yeah, it forces that, which breaks the one clue. Yep. So that can't be Pentomino. This is always loop. Okay. I was very confident it was going to break some sort of loop parody nonsense over here, but I could not quite see it myself. It's one of these two. So I guess the coward's thing to do is just put an X there to say the loop does not cross through these two. Right, because if this is Pentomino, that's Pentomino, and if this isn't Pentomino, then both of these are Pentomino. So this is always Pentomino, is Martin's point. I agree, because of the fact I need two of these to be Pentomino. And so if the second this isn't, these both are. And if this is, where does the Pentomino grow? It can only grow there because of the one clue again. So we've got that. If this is Pentomino, now we create a dead end. So this can't be Pentomino anymore. And so therefore the orange Pentomino does include this cell. I think we are good to say. Okay, and so now this is done. So now this is a loop. And so the loop goes through it like that. So we've got at least a little bit more loop segment. Let's see. L looks moderately likely for this, but who knows? This segment is a corridor, right? It can't connect up or down, so it can only connect left and right. A cloister, I believe, is the approved term. This is a corner, by the way. Maybe I should have started with that. That would have probably been smarter. This now has to continue, and it takes that corner. Certainly don't make a mini loop, so we can get all of that. This now is forced there. This is forced down. My orange grows at least this far. So we get a lot of gooey goodness out of that. Let's see. So yeah, so we've got good chunk of Pentomino. Okay, so now this 4 is now getting quite interesting. Because we need 2 more. Of course, 1 more can be orange. The other can't be orange. So the other, and it can't be yellow either. So there's a Pentomino here or here, is what the 4 is telling us. Now, which of those it is, that I do not know yet. The 4 has not chosen to tell me. It does feel like putting a Pentomino here is going to be awfully tough. Right. If this is a pentomino, it creates a dead end here. Okay, thank you. Yeah, so Carl has it. If this is a pentomino, then now this cell is definitely a dead end. So it's that one that's the pentomino. And so we can fill in some assorted red over here. We can connect this over here. We can finish the F. We can draw some lines through the corner, through the corridor. We can go through this corridor. Okay, so this one is the I. It's good to know. Now this is a corner because remember, everything that touches a pentomino definitely has stuff in it. Like that. Okay, I do know that this is a U or a Z now, I suppose. Yeah, diagonal of orange is definitely loop. That's certainly true. I said U or a Z, didn't I? Oh, Martin said it was not of that. Okay. Right. If orange doesn't take this cell, it creates the same dead end we tried to avoid before. So yeah, so now this is a U, and so now we get all of that stuff. Oh, this is not a corner. I was going to say this is a corner, but that's a lie. Okay. This is now a corridor, which means this is a pentomino because it would be a dead end otherwise. Very nice. Right, one of these is definitely part of a pentomino because I can't claim them both. It can't be blue. Because if it's blue, then blue would be a U, and I can't repeat the U. So it seems quite difficult for this to be the one that's part of a pentomino, but maybe it's actually this one that's difficult to be a pentomino. This definitely doesn't go down, by the way. If this goes down, I create 2 dead ends, and then I definitely break by extending 3 separate pentominos in this direction. Like that, and now this is definitely, I guess immediately that's a dead end is the problem. Oh, sorry, no, this can't be a pentomino at all because of the dead end problem, right? If this is a pentomino, it's not blue, and so if it's a pentomino, it goes down and then it creates a dead end there. So that's the one that's the pentomino. So we can go back and we can cycle back and we can do yellow again. So we can do that. Like that. Okay, now I presume the 1 is going to see a piece of the yellow and that this is going to be something like a Y, but I'm not 100% prepared to prove that yet. I am prepared to get rid of the circles that live under these. Let's see. Oh yeah, this 3 clue has got to take 3 of these 4 cells. That's something. And it's certainly not these three. Because if it takes those three, it definitely creates a dead end up here, right? There's no way to fix it so that it's not. So if it can't take those three, that means that's always part of a pentomino. Which means that grows there. What if it takes these three? Yeah, the left two is going to immediately force a P, so it can't take the left two, so it has to take that one. Because of the fact that it would immediately create a P. So this comes around here. Taking this seems like poison, but I don't know that it quite is. If I do take this, then I certainly take this and this. This spills down like this. And so I end up taking that. But I don't think I quite... I guess I end up being exactly an L because I can't create a thing over there. Oh, assuredly, this just breaks green, right? I think if I take this, I think this whole shape is forced, and now assuredly green is broken, right? Green would have to come down. I guess green could just get away with being a Z. I think there's a version where green becomes a Z. Row 13, column 14 is Pentomino. Right. Any way I connect this, so if it's Pentomino, it's definitely yellow. Right. It's yellow, and there's a 1 there, so that would also be yellow. And so, right, if I make that yellow, I create a dead end there, and if I make that yellow, I make a dead end there, right? So this can't be yellow, so it can't be a pentomino at all. So this is definitely visited by the loop. Right. If this is, Garion points out maybe an easier step. If this is loop, then it's a corner that does that, and then yellow never finishes. So this is always yellow. Okay, so now I think yellow has to take this cell, right? If yellow doesn't take this cell, then yellow definitely blocks this entire 1 clue from getting a clue. So yellow has to take this cell, which means that's also loop. Yellow can't take that cell because then it would create a dead end there, and yellow can't take that cell because that would make an I, so yellow in fact takes that cell. And now we can do all of that stuff. Through there. Oh, purple can't only go up anymore, by the way. That is something that I didn't notice. If purple only goes up, it touches green diagonally. So purple, we at least get one more purple cell, which gets us a corner. Right. And now if purple doesn't go down at least one more, then the thing it becomes is an F, which we can't do. So that's also purple. Oh, this is a corner, by the way, so we can take it. Uh, uh, oh, and it can't be a Y, right, because we've used a Y. So actually, yeah, this is an L or a Z, right? Because that now is not possible, and so now this is a corner like that. So we can get all of that corner action going. Uh, let's see. If this is blue, it makes another P or another F, because if this is blue, now it forces that down, and so this is a dead end, so that's definitely blue. And then, yeah, my two options are P or F. So, yeah, this can't be blue because it would make a P or F. That's crazy. So, therefore, it's loop, which means the loop has to do that. Uh, right. If this doesn't go down, it creates a mini loop. I agree. I don't want to create a mini loop. Uh, Yeah, and if this goes up, we create a parity problem, because if this goes up, then now we've got three ends sort of hanging out together, and I can't connect these two, so both of them would have to connect to that one. So I agree that these can't ultimately connect. So we get sort of to sneak all of that out like that. Uh, no? Oh, right. So I just know that these don't connect, because if these connect, it breaks. Uh, but this cannot connect in other ways, is the point. Right, because this could still connect that way. Uh, uh, if that is green, then that isn't. Because of the two clue. Uh, let's see, if this is a pentomino, it breaks cleanly. We have this wrap around here. Uh, would have to be a V or a T. This would be a or a Y, I suppose, or sorry, or an N perhaps. Couldn't it be an N? Uh, uh, let's see. Right. So I'm going through Selena's point. If this is green, I can't make this green because I'd repeat a piece. So then the loop goes through here. Uh, uh, but why is that immediately a problem? Uh, uh, because there's 3 cells down here. Uh, I'm just trying to mentally wrap my brain around why, like, I can't do something like that. Because okay, so if this is green, let me just draw it in. If this is green, then we force all of that, which forces this, and now the point is now this 5 clue needs all of those, and that is a 6-cell pentomino. Got it. Okay, so this is not a pentomino. For what it is worth. And if this is in the pentomino, so is that. Which is probably what happens. Otherwise, neither of these are in the pentomino. I guess I now know. Oh, no, sorry. I was going to say now I know this is loop, but that's not true. But I do know this is loop, I suppose. Okay, yeah. So the one, two, three, four. Both are in. How does the 5 in row 4 work? That sounds like a great question to ask. So if both are in, then at most one of these 3 is in, and so both of those 2 would have to be in. So yeah, it would have to be a W, right? This unfortunately looks more plausible than I had hoped. I really liked the suggestion, Josh, but I think it almost works. I think I think if I push hard enough, I think this hypothetical pentomino will break. Uh, uh, row 3, column 4, not being pentomino breaks, and it's easier to check. Okay, so let's see. So if this is not pentomino, then that assuredly makes this not pentomino, which creates a little bit of a loop here. Forces the loop around here. Yeah, so if this is draw in, if I make this not pentomino, then green gets forced all the way around here. Because of that. And we need 2 more pentomino cells for the 5, which are these 2, and that creates a dead end. Seems messy. Yeah, I think there's probably not a non-messy way around this. Uh, uh, we did prove much earlier that their two loop cells in this row are contiguous. Using loop parity stuff. Because if they're separate, then I have an odd number of crossings across the border between row 3 and row 4. So if this is loop, then I know that all of that is loop. And now green is still a V. And I can't get to the 5. Yeah, yeah, so I agree if we're willing to use that sort of loop parity thing, then yeah, then that becomes a little bit cleaner. And we get that. Okay, and so now here, because we know that in these rows, these two are connected, that tells me I know that this is an omino, and these two are an omino. And so so that has to come over like that. And so this now I can't fit a pentomino. Oh, actually, maybe I can fit a pentomino up there. Yeah, there is some like this is a corner now. Yeah, green is a W. I need a. I can't fill all of this. Because of the way the 2x3 works. Because if I the way to think about this is sort of these 3 cells. I visit one of these 3 every other cell that I move through here. So wherever this moves, it moves off a highlighted cell and then onto a highlighted cell and then off and then on. But that means it can't get all 3 unhighlighted cells. So I always need my purple to come up at least this far. But now I think I'm at a point where if purple only goes up that far, I think I can't avoid repeating a pentomino, because if purple doesn't take this cell now, if purple takes this cell, it's broken. So purple has to take this cell, but if purple takes this cell, it's still broken because it's still a Y or a P. So so it always takes this. Oh, also there's a clue. That makes it even easier. Okay, and so anyway, it can't be a Y. We already have a Y. An N would create a dead end, so it certainly does that. And we have an L, which funnily enough tells me that this purple is a Z. Which makes that is a corner, that is a throughway, that can go through there. All of these need to be visited. That's a corner. So now that's a corner. So I think we've got all of that figured out. This is a corridor, right? Through there that I need to visit. Let's see. 3 of these now have to go in. We're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've currently used 8 pentominos for what it's worth. This 2 tells me that one of these 2 is in. So there's definitely so this cell is on the border between between a pentomino and not a pentomino. So what if that's the one that's a pentomino? Maybe it could be a V, actually. Maybe it's okay if that one's a pentomino too. I don't see an immediate break with those. Oh yeah, okay. That's actually nice. Martin points out if this is loop, then we have that, and so now my pentomino has to fit in 4 cells. That doesn't work. So that's the one that's loop. This is the one that is pentomino. Let's see. What am I going to do with this? Is always the question. Can this blue possibly come only this way? I'm trying not to just case check through the 4 cases, but I do think if this doesn't go right at all, I don't think it's going to be good. Because I think it's going to end up being a P or a Y, depending on exactly how we handle it. NTVX. But I do not want to give a proof of the form I checked NTV and X and none of them worked. But I do think it's true that if this goes left, then it breaks. Or sorry, if this doesn't go right, then it breaks. Okay, if this is a polyomino, or if this is part of a pentomino, it comes here, and it would have to be a T or a V. Is one of those immediately broken? V is definitely broken. Because V does make a 3x3 loop, I agree. So it'd have to be a T. The T creates a dead end here. Yeah, the T leaves the dead end over here. I was looking over here and it's like, oh, that looks good, but yeah, that would be a dead end. So this is definitely loop for what it is worth. The 3 here, actually, if this only goes... Yeah, I guess the 3 could maybe do that. Actually, is it possible? I guess maybe the question is, can all 3 of them be these 3? Maybe that's the question. Because I don't think they can be those 3. Because I don't think there's any way to do that that doesn't repeat a type, because I'm going to create a dead end down here. Or a P. So... yeah, so if blue doesn't go right, it can't go all the way left. So the question is, can blue go left and then down? In which case, I know this thing is coming, the loop is coming down through this side, and now I'm toast because I've become a U again, and I've already used U, I think, haven't I? Yeah, I've already used U. So I think I'm convinced that blue definitely has to go here now because of that combination of things. Let's see. Globaglob doesn't like this being this being blue. Because if this is blue, right. If this is blue, it forces this O to connect straight across, and now this is in a dead end. So this can't be blue. This is definitely loop. Okay, so if this is... I think Garion is saying if this is Pentomino, it's not blue, so it's forced down, but then it can't go down any further, so it's forced right. But now this 2 clue doesn't allow for any more Pentomino in this row. But this blue is going to need to take a Pentomino in that row. And that's not going to be possible, so it's going to break. Yeah, I was using the... Oh, has a 2 clue. Oh, wow, sorry. I just didn't count the purple. Okay, this is much better. Okay, right. So yeah, so if this is Pentomino, it's a Pentomino of size 1, which seems like a significant issue. So there we go. So that does that. Okay, if this is Pentomino now, it's certainly forced to come down, because the loop is coming through here, and it has to go down again. It becomes an L, right? If this is Pentomino, it's an L, and we've already got an L up there. So I don't think this can be Pentomino either. I think that has to be loop. Okay. See, so which of these do I think is going to break faster? I think if blue takes that, I think it's okay. If blue takes this, is that a problem? So if blue takes this, it has to also take this, because if blue doesn't take that, then blue has to come down here. And now the problem is, if this loop goes this way, it's a dead end there, and if the loop goes this way, it's a dead end here. So if blue does come here, it has to also take that, and then it assuredly becomes a T. So, but that looks actually I think I see how that would work out if that happens. Okay, let's see. Garion says it's if it takes this cell that we run into issues. So if it takes this cell, then it can't take this one. Oh, it could. It would become an N, I guess. Oh, N would make a dead end, right? V would make a dead end. So, so it would have to be a T as well. So now this has to go down here, and now we create an issue with filling all of these. So the problem with this T is that this end gets stolen down through here. And now we have this problem that we can't just connect these two through every circle, because you'll notice if we try and connect them, we're always missing a cell because of the parity trick we said earlier. And so that is really the problem, is that making this blue abducts this loop end that we are counting on to do some of our dirty work going through here. I don't love it, but I think I'm pretty convinced that means that this is blue, and so this is loop. And so, as previously noted, that means that's blue and that's blue. So this goes down like that. This comes down through there. This is now a corner, so it comes through there like that. This is now a corner. This is certainly a corner as well. This is certainly a corner. Can get rid of that. We certainly need to make sure we visit these two. Okay. This clue is done. Thank you. So all of those are loop of some description. So now this certainly has to be loop, because if it's a pentomino, it's a one-cell pentomino. Admittedly, I haven't used the one-cell pentomino yet, but I probably am not going to. That makes this a corner as well. That makes this a corner as well. That makes this a corner as well. That makes this a... Oh, sorry, I don't know that that's loop. I just want to double check. I didn't use there anything that I wasn't supposed to, right? I almost did, but I think I caught myself before I did. I think that is all forced. There is a 2 clue over here. It needs one more loop cell. So there's a loop cell, or sorry, so there's a pentomino here. And one of those cells. Yeah, we don't have a whole lot of clues left. We've still got to think about this too. We've still got to think about that too. That might be it, actually. That might be all the clues that have any impact on what's left. So if this is a pentomino, we create this problem where whichever direction this goes creates a dead end. So it's like a one step more complicated than a dead end. I agree. So this is not a pentomino. I mean, I guess one thing we could do is say, is this a V, an X, or an N? It's not an X. So this is only a V or an N. And the V doesn't work, right? Because the V, X, and N are all that's left, and the only way I can make this into a V is to do that, which certainly creates a dead end. So I think this just has to be an N, right? Do we agree? I think this has to be this N exactly, in fact. Unless someone can think of another option. But I think that's true. Let's see. Okay, Carl at least agrees. I will take Carl's agreement. Okay, so that pulls this aside through there, which then makes this into a corner, which now makes this into a sort of weird corner, which makes that into a corner. These can't connect, so this comes out like that. This is a corner, so it takes it like that. All of these are not pentomino. Okay, so now we only have X and N remaining. Sorry, no, we only have X and V remaining. Okay, so is there any way to draw an X or V that goes through this cell that doesn't insta-break? I think I just can't draw an X through it at all. And I think the only V I can draw through it is that one. Oh, and that V doesn't immediately break, does it? I don't think this V immediately breaks, unfortunately. This one, I think, annoyingly, there's options. Let's see, Emma says this must be loop because if it wasn't, I guess it would be a V, and that's a problem because something. Yeah, this creates a really weird kind of dead end. Because that's a corner, and that's a corner, And so you create you create a like little itty bitty loop. So yeah, so I definitely can't make this pentomino, and so therefore it is going to sneak around like that. Uh, yeah, so this is either pentomino or a corner. If this was pentomino, what would it be? I guess again we have V, and actually X also seems like a plausible-ish option. Uh, let's see. Uh, oh, is this definitely not an X? Yeah, I think I can argue that this is not an X because it breaks the. If I draw an X here, this is a corner, which then draws this loop in, and I've got 3 loop ends, and I have a problem. So I agree. Whichever way this goes, this is a V. Which now actually tells me that I cannot put. So the only thing left is X after I realize that's a V, and so I certainly can't fit an X anywhere along the bottom because an X along the bottom would definitely create a dead end. So I can at least mark all of those as being included. Uh, uh, so the V is either this or this. So I guess the point is this cell's always part of the V, right? Row 11. Yeah, I guess either way, both of these are always part of the V. Let's see. I believe. Uh, and so in particular, that is my second pentomino piece in this column. So I think that makes all of that be loop. And now there's just not room for an X down here because X's are too wide. So I can mark all of that as being loop. Let's see. This is assuredly always loop. Yes, this is a corner. Good. We don't know that there's an X. That is not one of the rules. Okay, right. And I know that. I guess this either looks like this or like this. Uh, uh, so yeah, so like this cell's definitely not part of an X. This cell's not part of an X either way. This cell's not part of an X. This cell certainly touches this either orthogonally or diagonally. This cell touches that orthogonally or diagonally. So yeah, so I guess we have either an X here or we don't is the moral of the story. Uh, uh, It is true. We could do a global parity count because the loop definitely covers an even number of cells. So we know if someone's willing to do the counting, we know whether we use the X or not because the loop covers an even number of cells, and we just need to know whether we need to use the X or not so that there's an even number of cells left over. So so you just need to count the okay, so Carl says there are 210 cells other than the clue cells. And then we've used, so we need to use an even number of pentominos, I guess is the point. So yeah, so I think, provided that the 15 number is correct, that means we do need to use the X to get there. So we'll use the X, which is a very cool sort of finishing move for this. We'll use that, like that, and now that, like that, like that. And so now that has forced which way the V goes. And so now this is a corner, into that's a corner. That's a corner. Let's see, this is a corridor, so we've got to go down that way. Go up to there. This is a corner. This is a corner. This is a corner. And now, if I connect these two, I will create a mini loop, which I cannot. So I must connect this through here. Boop-a-doop. And I think that does it. Yeah, I like the loop parody as the sort of concluding piece of the puzzle. I think that's a pretty cool way to wrap it up. But yeah, and it sort of fits the work throughout the puzzle, because a number of times you had to think about that kind of sort of parody stuff, although you had to think about it sort of locally. But it's a very good way to take the puzzle from nowhere near done to completely done, because you get that and then you place the X, and an X has a bajillion corners in it, and so it forces everything. Although I suppose KNT could equally have chosen to say in the rules that all of the pentominos are used exactly once. So, I mean, I guess it's a matter of taste which of those you would have preferred. But very cool puzzle. I quite enjoyed that. Alrighty. So I think that is going to be it for stream today. So thank you very much to everyone for hanging out. It's been very much appreciated. We have had many fun puzzles today. 3 pencil puzzles and a very memorable, cool sort of alternate rule puzzle by the Card Folk. I don't know if I don't know what the collective name for the Card Folk is. FullDeck and missing a few cards. But thank you to everyone. Great puzzles. I look forward to seeing you all again on Friday when I next stream. So thank you, everyone, for hanging out. Thank you to everyone who supports the stream. If you have not liked the stream yet, please do like the stream. It is greatly appreciated when you do so. It is a big help with people finding the stream, finding it and watching it and all of these sorts of things. We know there's a lot of people out there who enjoy puzzle content, so giving the little like helps people find it. If you want to support the stream financially, we greatly appreciate all of you who do that. You can do that by clicking the join button down below. And you can do it for as little as $5 a month, and we try and give you some cool bonuses for doing that, like emotes and voting on what puzzle we start stream with, and all of those good things. Last but not least, thank you to the Turbines, the people who give at the top level: Daniel, David, Franco, Nell, Nordy, Plonktime, and DDX, many of whom have given out a lot of gift subs lately. So very much thank you to all of you who have done that. And it is cool seeing chat painted green because lots of gift subs have gone out and gotten many people their sort of green names. So thank you, everyone. I look forward to seeing you all again soon. But I think that's bye for now. So I'll see you all next time.